What comes to mind when you think of Brazil? Is it the vibrant festivals, the rhythmic music, or the rich culinary traditions? Hello, and welcome back to Melodic Bites, where I serve bite sized content on the intersection of food and music, usually digging in deeper on what I post on my blog over at melodiceats.com. This is the 10th and final episode of our series on the 10 unexpected holiday dishes from around the world that you need to try this season. In this episode, we explore the heart and soul of Brazil through two of its most beloved cultural treasures, the delectable Rabanada and the enchanting rhythms of Bossa Nova. Today, I'm taking you on a journey to discover how these two elements paint a picture of Brazilian culture, highlighting the country's culinary delights and iconic music scene. So sit back, relax, and let the flavors and melodies of Brazil transport you to a world of festive cheer and soothing sounds. What is Rabanada? So imagine a slice of bread, not just any bread, but a tender, thick slice that's been soaked in a fragrant mixture of milk and eggs, then fried to a golden perfection. This is Rabanada, Brazil's answer to French toast. Unlike its morning cousin, Rabanada is a sweet treat served typically during Christmas time. The outside is crispy while the inside remains soft and custard-like, often sprinkled liberally with a sweet mixture of cinnamon and sugar, creating a delightful contrast in textures and flavors. At first glance, Rabanada might remind you of French toast, but there are distinct differences. French toast is often a breakfast dish, while Rabanada is a dessert, primarily savored during the holiday season. And don't even get me started on that, because most of what we call breakfast here in the US is basically dessert. But I digress. The Brazilian version is sweeter, sometimes soaked in wine, and usually enjoyed as a celebratory food rather than a breakfast staple. So ingredients and cooking Rabanada include starting with a thick slice of day-old bread, preferably a sturdy type like a baguette or challah, which holds up well to soaking. Dip these slices into a creamy bath of eggs and milk, sometimes enriched with vanilla or other flavorings. For Brazilian twist, a splash of port wine or similar sweet wine is added, infusing the bread with a subtle boozy note, which we like, or at least what I like. I love cooking with wine. Once soaked, the bread is fried in hot oil or butter until each side is crisply golden. Finally, while still warm, the fried slices are coated in a cinnamon sugar mixture, giving Rabanada its signature sweet finish. There are variations that occur in different regions of Brazil. Some may use coconut milk for a tropical twist or incorporate creamy condensed milk. Each family might have its secret ingredient or technique. So making Rabanada is a personal and nostalgic dish for many. Rabanada has its roots in Portugal, known there as fatias douradas, or golden slices. It was traditionally made to use up stale bread and provide a rich, sweet food during times of celebration, particularly Christmas. When it traveled to Brazil with Portuguese settlers, it evolved, incorporating local tastes and ingredients, becoming an integral part of Brazilian Christmas traditions. In Brazil, Rabanada isn't just a dish, it's a festive symbol. It's about gathering, sharing, and celebrating. It graces holiday tables and brings back memories of childhood, family, and joy. It represents the Brazilian flair for adopting and adapting cultural influences, making them uniquely their own. Each bite is a mix of history, tradition, and the warm spirit of Brazilian hospitality. The importance of cinnamon sugar in Rabanada cannot be overstated. The sweet and spicy layer it forms on the crispy exterior is a treat for the taste buds and also an integral part of the dish's sensory appeal. It's the aroma of cinnamon that beckons you to take a bite and the sweetness that perfectly balances the rich and eggy bread. Without the cinnamon sugar, Rabanada would lose an essential layer of flavor and complexity that makes it such a beloved holiday treat. So here are some tips on how to sprinkle it for that perfect sweet and spicy coating. First, of course, you want even distribution. Ensure your Rabanada is warm when you sprinkle the cinnamon sugar so it adheres well. Use a shaker or sieve for an even, light dusting that covers the entire piece, avoiding clumps. So you really want to sprinkle that cinnamon sugar on it as soon as it's fried and slightly cooled. The residual heat helps that sugar melt slightly and the cinnamon's aroma to bloom. Feel free to adjust the ratio of cinnamon to sugar according to your taste. Some prefer a stronger cinnamon flavor, while others might lean towards a sweeter finish. I personally like more of a cinnamon flavor, just like I do with my cinnamon rolls, but my partner, he is all about that sugar, so Put it to your liking and customize it as you see fit. And then some additional flavorings, you might want to consider adding a pinch of nutmeg or clove to the cinnamon sugar mix for an extra layer of spice, especially around the holiday season. So one of my favorite spice blends, I make a homemade chai spice, and I absolutely love putting that on literally everything. I actually took, if you are familiar with my blog, I mention my family recipe for the rum cake often because it is something that every time I make it, everyone falls in love with it, and it's definitely a holiday favorite. And I actually did a twist on it this year and made it with spiced rum and a chai spice blend that I made, and it was really, really good. But anyways, I love rum cake. Okay, so that's enough about cinnamon sugar. Let's get into the historical and cultural context of this dish. So the story of rabanada begins in Portugal, where it's known as fatias douradas, which translates to golden slices, like I mentioned earlier. This dish was traditionally made during Christmas as a way to use up stale bread, ensuring nothing went to waste while creating something delicious for the holiday season. So I know a lot of us have these types of things that we do with food before it goes bad, and it's just kind of funny to read something where it is the same situation and it's become such a staple in a different culture. As Portuguese settlers made their way to Brazil, they brought with them their culture, language, and culinary traditions, including fatias douradas. Once in Brazil, the simple sweet dish began to intertwine with local ingredients and culinary techniques, evolving into what is known now as rabanada. And this journey from Portugal to Brazil symbolizes the broader narrative of culinary migration and adaptation, illustrating how recipes change and adapt to new environments and influences. And that's something that I think is really interesting and fascinating about the field of food and culinary practices and learning how things have evolved. So Portuguese cuisine has left an indelible mark on Brazilian culinary culture, with rabanada being a prime example. And ingredients like sugar and cinnamon, which are staples in Portuguese desserts, have become central to Brazilian sweet treats as well. And this culinary exchange reflects centuries of history, migration, and cultural interchange between the two nations. So rabanada becomes this testament to Brazil's cultural diversity and history of culinary fusion. And as it's embraced and adapted by various regions in Brazil, it takes on local flavors and ingredients, becoming a symbol of Brazilian innovation and creativity in cuisine. This dessert isn't just about the flavors and techniques passed down from Portugal, it's also about the Brazilian spirit of embracing and reinventing what comes to its shores, creating something uniquely Brazilian in the process. So the story of rabanada mirrors the broader narrative of Brazil itself, a tapestry woven from threads of diverse cultures, tastes, and traditions coming together to create a vibrant and rich cultural landscape. So you remember I mentioned bossa nova earlier. Let's get into that. As we savor the sweet taste of rabanada, let's tune into the equally sweet sounds of bossa nova. This music genre, synonymous with Brazil, emerged in the late 1950s and early 1960s in Rio de Janeiro. Bossa nova, which means new trend or new wave, is characterized by its smooth, flowing rhythms and sophisticated lyrical themes. It's a fusion of samba's rhythm and the melodic and harmonic complexity of jazz, creating a sound that's both uniquely Brazilian and universally appealing. Bossa nova was born out of a desire to innovate. Musicians like João Gilberto, Antonio Carlos Jobim, and Vinicius de Moraes, I'm so sorry if I butchered those, started experimenting with samba's traditional rhythm, softening its percussive edge and incorporating elements from American jazz. The result was a more subdued, melodic, and introspective sound that quickly captured the hearts of listeners. Bossa nova's defining characteristics include gentle guitar strums, complex chord progressions, and lyrical themes often revolving around love, nature, and introspection. João Gilberto's Che de Saudade is often credited as the song that launched bossa nova into the mainstream. Antonio Carlos Jobim, known as the father of bossa nova, composed classics like The Girl from Ipanema and Desafinado, songs that have become synonymous with Brazilian music. Other notable figures include Vinicius de Moraes, Astrud Gilberto, and Stan Getz, an American jazz saxophonist who collaborated with bossa nova artists, further popularizing the genre worldwide. Just as rabanada is a treat for the palate, bossa nova is a feast for the ears, and together they create a sensory experience that embodies the relaxed, joyful spirit of Brazilian culture. The smooth, mellow tunes of bossa nova complement the sweet, comforting taste of rabanada, setting a mood of leisure and pleasure. Imagine enjoying rabanada while listening to bossa nova. Picture this. You're sitting in a cozy corner of a festive Brazilian home. a plate of warm, cinnamon-sprinkled rabanada in front of you. As you take a bite, the sweet flavors burst into your mouth, the soft texture comforting your soul. In the background, the smooth sounds of bossa nova fill the air, the gentle guitar strums and soothing melodies weaving through the laughter and conversation. It's an experience, a moment of cultural immersion, where every bite and every note brings you closer to the heart of Brazil. Through Rabanada and Bossa Nova, you're not just exploring the Brazilian cuisine and music, you're experiencing the very essence of Brazilian joie de vivre, which means joy of life. As we wrap up this journey through the flavors and melodies of Brazil, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've explored today. We've delved into the sweet, comforting world of Rabanada, discovering its origins, cultural significance, and the unique Brazilian twist that makes it a holiday favorite. We also tuned into smooth, relaxing rhythms of bossa nova, understanding its roots, key figures, and how it complements the Brazilian culinary experience. I hope this episode inspired you to try making rabanada in your own kitchen, to feel the sprinkle of cinnamon sugar between your fingers and to savor its sweet custardy goodness. And as you enjoy this treat, let the soothing tunes of bossa nova transport you to the sun-drenched beaches and bustling streets of Brazil, filling your home with the spirit of Brazilian joy and relaxation. As this 10-part series concludes, I extend my heartfelt thanks for joining me on this culinary and musical adventure. Your curiosity and enthusiasm have made this journey all the more enriching. So if you've enjoyed exploring these 10 holiday dishes from around the world, let me know if you'd like to have another series similar to this. Your feedback will help shape future series and ensure that I continue bringing you content that you love and learn from. And with that, I bid adieu. This is Matthew Jeans from Melodic Bites, wishing you a hearty meal and soulful tunes. Until next bite, keep your beats tasty and your eats in tune.